Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Patrick from Have Cheetah Will View, 8 questions with. Uh, Welcome to the first show of the week. We are having a fun week this week. Um, we are hosting 4 shows. We're kicking it off tonight by talking with actress Brandi Wheeler. I'm going to let her say her last name. I think it's Primo. I'll let her say it. I do know I can say Wheeler though, so until she gets here and corrects me, I will just call her Brandi Wheeler so I don't crush her name, right? Uh, so she is going to be here today. Uh, she is an actress based out of Canada and getting her career. She bounces a family and an acting career, and we'll be talking to her about that. And I think she's a pretty interesting person, quite honestly, and I'm glad that she agreed to do the show. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to talk to her, and yeah, I'm excited about this. This can be good. Um, Hey, Cos, how are you, sir? Well, I think this gang is just you and me so far. Uh, it is hot as hell over here in Michigan. It's 96 degrees here. It is burning hot. So I'm not sure exactly who's going to roll up today for this show. Um, we tossed it out there, and we will see what we get. I hope that we get a few heads in here. That'll always be fun. It's always nice to talk to people with a little bit of a crowd. Tomorrow night we have a cat rescuer. Um, she'll be here tomorrow. Her name is Linda Lubitz. And again, she has one of those hard last names, so I'm only going to phonetically say it. So if I mess it up, I'm sorry. Uh, Guide Roz, Guide Roz. I'm probably crushing it, right? She'll be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and she is now in the process of setting up a sanctuary. So that's actually pretty interesting to me because I've talked to a couple of animal rescuers, and hey, we got a gang now. Hey, Echo, how are you, sir? Oh, I did not know that, Cause. I didn't know you. Or did I know? No, I don't think I did know that. Maybe I did. Did I? Oh boy. No, I don't think I knew that. I know Charles Cochran's in Michigan. I think he's the only one I know locally that's in Michigan. Uh, yeah, we're enjoying it too, sort of. Um, Most of the time, up to the last two, the two animal rescuers I've talked to have had established rescues. I mean, they have a rescue; they've been doing it for a while, and what have you. And what's really gonna be cool tomorrow night, talking with Linda, is the fact that she's in the process of setting it up. And I've always wondered how that happens. How do you set up a nonprofit rescue? And so I think we're going to get an idea of what it takes when we talk to her tomorrow. And it's interesting. One of the things she shared with us was it costs, at least down in Florida anyway, you have to pay the IRS $400 as part of the process. And at first, that seems like a lot of money, right? It seems like a lot of money to pay for a rescue. You're out there rescuing, you got to raise monies and whatnot. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, it actually makes sense. Okay, Clinton Township. Okay, yeah, you're in Oakland County then. Okay. I know there's two other, there's another person that lives by us too, cause though I haven't seen him in a while. He goes by the name of Rick Smith. Oh, and Jamie. Crystal and Jamie. Crystal lives by us too, Macomb County. Okay, so you're toward the mall. Hi, Kristen. How are you? I got your message, and yes, August will be fine. I'll set something up for sure. Uh, I have been sluggish today. I have been so sluggish. But it's hot as hell over here. Uh, and then on Thursday, the 23rd, we have actress Chrissy Georgiana Peters. I can pronounce that name, no problem. She'll be here at on the 8 o'clock on the 23rd. And then on the 24th, Friday, we have another Friday show. We will be talking to our good friend, director and film editor, Sean Kane. Sean Kane will be here. Now, Sean Kane is, Lakeside Mall. Okay, nice. I haven't been there in years, cause I mean, like years, I think we only went there like once or twice. We went to the massive mall up there in by Rochester, Great Lakes Crossing. That's the mall we used to go to. Well, we used to go there until Stephen Barry's closed, and then we didn't go back up. So we'll be talking to Sean Kane this Friday at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. That's a special 9 o'clock start time too for Sean because he's on the West Coast and whatnot. So we pushed it back an hour and to talk to him. Sunday we're going to be really busy. Me and the Cheetah. He doesn't know yet how busy we are, but we have not one, not two, but three shows on Sunday. That's right, three shows. We are interviewing our good friend and fellow YouTuber Anthony Shabat. Will be here at 2 o'clock. Um, I'm really excited. I'm excited to do this interview with Anthony. I wish every single guest of mine had the same enthusiasm as Anthony does, because if they did, I'd probably be interviewing everybody every day, all year round. They all had the same energy as Anthony had. Um, so we'll be talking to him at 2 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we'll come back and do the ISC Midnight Nights. I am running the live stream. I'm running the panel, but Mary Wilson is the one that's hosting this Sunday, and she picked a movie called "See for Me," which looks to be a modern take of the classic Audrey Hepburn film "Wait Until Dark." So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how the Knights handle that. It looks really intense. The movie is out digitally. You can order it through Amazon Prime or AMC Plus. It is not out for sale yet. It's not out for sale. So I will be running the stream, but I'll have to be on the sidelines for this one as far as commentary goes, because I was not able to get a copy of it. It's not going to be coming out until the end of the month or beginning of July. But it will be a good show. It'll be a good show. I'm looking forward to seeing what Mary picks for us. I mean, it sounds really good. The movie sounds outstanding, actually. Uh, okay. And then at 8 o'clock, as you know, we moved the Midnight Society to 8 o'clock. It moved to 8 o'clock. Yeah, I know. It happens though, right? I mean, she didn't realize that. I didn't realize that either, because when she mentioned the movie, I went looking for it to buy it, and I just kept on noticing the only way I could get it was to buy it digitally, and I don't do that. So I just couldn't find it. I think, well, nobody's selling a used copy of it, and then she said that the movie's coming out at the end of the month. So I was like, whoops. I will have to say this in Mary's defense. She did offer to change the movie, but we have already committed to it, as far as watching it and bringing it to you folks. And I didn't want to change it just because of that. That's the movie that Mary wanted to talk about. Mary wanted to watch and talk about. So that's what we're going to do. I will probably I'll probably take part with some hot takes, some facts, some fun facts. I'll probably be able to offer that to the proceedings. But again, it's going to be a fun show. 6 o'clock here on my channel. Um, Mary's C for Me. That's going to be a fun movie to watch. Next month, we are traveling all to New Jersey. We are going to New Jersey for uh, one second here. All right, so we're going to New Jersey next month for an American Werewolf in London. Hey, how are you? Selgreen. I don't know if I know that person. Well, I'm glad you're here. If I've forgotten, I'm sorry. um, but we're heading over to New Jersey for next month's show, which in that will be July 31st. July 31st, and we will be watching Werewolves Within. That will be the movie for next Sunday for the next IFC show. Uh, and then on 8 o'clock and on the Midnight Society, me and Al, we are talking about the two doctors. Um, Two doctors. We're talking about Dr. Mordred and Dr. Strange. And we're going to be each talking about each character from the movie and talk a little bit about the movies themselves. This was one of Marvel's earliest attempts to do movies. Doctor Strange came out when the Hulk was out. They had tried Spider-Man and they had tried the Hulk, and they did Doctor Strange. So 1985. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. A lot of people don't know that there was a Doctor Strange movie that came out in the 80s. They're unaware of that. They think the first time they see Doctor Strange was in the MCU, and that was not true. Peter Hooton played Doctor Strange. It's a little bit of a different origin story, but it's a good movie. It's fun. It's fun. They did a really nice job on it. Um, and this is also about the same time they did the Captain America movies with Reb Brown, which were fun. I mean, they were trying for what they had. You can't fault them. I mean, Marvel was trying. Um, Even DC was trying to get into the action when they try to do. They actually try to do a. They actually try to do a Justice League. They had made a TV movie, Justice League movie, way back then. So superhero movies did not start with 2002 Spider-Man. They actually started earlier. They started in the late 90s with Spawn, and of course Superman, Batman, and Blade. I look at Blade and Spawn as the two movies that really did truly kick off the modern superhero age. Um, More so than I do the Tim Burton Batmans. I like those movies, but when I think of the modern superhero movie as we know it now, Spawn and Blade pretty much kicked it off. Me too. Yeah, Uncommon Valor. Yeah, Red Brown. Yeah, he was good in that. He was good and he was good in the Captain America movies too. Him and Lynn Carew, who played his contact. Uh, those two guys had a lot of chemistry. I thought they made a good pair. It was sort of like a little bit of more of an updated version of see, like Oscar Goldman and Steve Austin and the $6 Million Man. Uh, they are. They're working on getting another movie with Blade. I know that Marshala Ali is supposed to be playing Blade. Uh, and they're doing another. Marvel's doing another comic series. They updated the Midnight Suns, which is their version of Justice League Dark, and Blade is part of that team. Uh, didn't see the Cage movies. My light is flickering, so I must be drawing off some energy here. As you see, my co-pilot is here, Al Lucard, our favorite bat and co-host of the Midnight Society. He'll be here. He is going to be talking about Dr. Mordred, which is actually a full moon's attempt to do Doctor Strange. Um, they had the license for it, and they're running out for the rights, so they had to do something with it. So they started filming a Doctor Strange movie, but they ran out of time and money. So, but they still had enough left there to do Dr. Mordred. All right, so everybody, put your hands together and welcome our guest, Brandi Wheeler. Ta-da. All right, there she is.
Okay, hopefully my.
Okay, so the first question is, how do we say your last name? I know Wheeler, but how do we say your married name?
So it's not my married name. It was my dad's last name. So it's Primo. It's French. But I've never been married. So, but I put that on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
It's my dad's last name because that was his last name.
Okay. Oh, that's a unique way of honoring him.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, hyphenated is your maiden name and then your married name.
Yeah, I haven't gone to that point yet. Hopefully soon, but it hasn't happened, unfortunately. But yes, that's Primo, if someone's going to pronounce it because of my dad, but Wheeler as in just my last name I go by usually.
So you said that unfortunately it hasn't happened yet?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get married in the next little bit. I got to wait for my partner to ask the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Brandi, do you see the title of my YouTube channel? It says Have Cheetah Will View. That's a take of Have Cheetah Will Travel. So if you need me and the cheetah to go up there and talk to him, that can be arranged. Just contact Paladin at the Hotel Carlton.
All right.
Yes, and what's your partner's name?
His name is Arthur.
Arthur?
Yeah.
This is for you, buddy. Hi, how are you? you know what we're talking about. You know what we're gonna tell you. Nice meeting you, Brandi. I'm really happy to meet you. We talked briefly. I try to do that before the interview. I know a lot of people say, "Well, I really hardly ever hear from you," and I'm going like, "You will. Oh, you'll hear too much of me by the end of the night." Well, okay, not going to be that bad, but we're definitely gonna have fun. I do it so that all our questions, like you mentioned, if I did pre-show questions, and I don't. We're just going to talk like we're talking now and see where it takes us. Those interviews are the most fun and the most interesting, and more often than not, the more revealing. You feel more comfortable, and plus, who wants to hear that? Who wants to hear the same boring questions like, "What's your favorite color? What's your favorite dinner?" Nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear about you. They want to hear about how you got started acting and how you create your characters and what do you feel about your craft and stuff like that. That's what we all wanted. That's why we're all here, to hear about that.
All right. So I started in acting at a very young age. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I vaguely remember I think I was not vaguely. I don't. Maybe around 18, 17, 18. I've always liked acting. I've always been into it.
Where were you born at, though? I mean, you're based in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Why does Canada? Okay, here's one question you can answer for me. How come Canada has so much talent?
I feel like Canada has so much talent because we haven't been seen yet by anyone else. So we're all just kind of stuck in this little ball of Canadians just trying to get out there, and some of us, it hasn't happened yet, unfortunately.
Well, we're gonna do our part to boost that a little bit, but that's one thing I've noticed over and over and over. It's like I sit here and I'll say, so or I'll say, "Where are you from?" and they'll say, "Well, I'm from Canada." I'm just like, of course you are, because Canada just has tremendous talent. I mean, holy crow! So many great artists, and yeah, I mean, we don't even know half. Like, I think for some reason most Americans think that every TV show, every country watches American shows, and I've been pleasantly surprised to find out that Canada has a very much thriving movie and TV industry. I mean, you guys make your own TV shows up there, and they air them on Canadian TV. Um, Once in a blue moon, and probably not enough. Sometimes we get to see them down here in the States. Um, but where were you born in Canada?
So I was born in Ottawa, Ontario.
Okay. Um, oh, everybody's saying hi to you. That's good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hello,
Um,
everybody.
so Ottawa, that's one of the biggest provinces, right?
Yeah, it's basically the capital of Canada. We have Parliament Hill and Justin Trudeau and all those folks. So we're basically like the center of Canada.
You must have had a very interesting time when all the trucks came in, right?
Yeah, I actually, honestly, it didn't affect me because the area I'm living in, I didn't hear them. And to be honest, it didn't really bother me, to be honest about it. I know a lot of people around here were complaining about it. I have a friend that actually, she couldn't sleep during the whole trucker rally situation.
Hmm.
For me, on the other hand, I slept because I can't hear it where I live. So,
That was pretty crazy, that's for sure. I mean, it's like if you were trying to work or play or go to school or what have you. Or how to get somewhere. It would have been pretty frustrating, of course. And that's the first time I can ever remember uh, seeing something like that in Canada. I mean, it must have felt, as far as being a Canadian citizen, it must have been really strange to see that because like I said, we've never seen it before.
yeah. Yeah, in my lifetime, I have never seen that. It's definitely the first time and probably won't be the last time. I heard they're coming back in July, so next month. I think July or August they're coming back. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly when, but I heard they are coming back. Um, yeah, it was definitely interesting, especially because the roads downtown they were blocked off, so you had to do a bunch of like ziggies here, ziggies there, and if you want to go one way that you normally go, you couldn't go that way, so you had to go all the way around. And so that's the only frustrating thing was the driving portion of it. My boyfriend and I were like, oh no, we can't go this way, so we're gonna have to go that way. So it kind of made our trip a little longer, unfortunately, but other than that, it was fine.
Uh, so you were mentioning before about when you're finding as far as becoming an actress. We'll come back to the truck thing. I do got a couple questions for you about that. Um, but when you started your career out, you mentioned you started pretty young. I mean, teenage. I mean, what was what was your inspiration for jumping in there and trying something like that? Had you always been a performer at heart? Were you one of those kids that used to do little shows for everybody and their parents?
I've been always a very outgoing individual and I'm a big movie buff. So I've always enjoyed watching movies. And during my younger years, actually goes far beyond, teenage. Back in, I think it was grade 7, I did a play called The Newsies. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. So we did The Newsies. So that was a
Oh,
production and I had a bit of a talking role in that.
I do believe that is where Christian Bale got a start at. I think that's his first movie he did was Newsies.
Oh, okay. It wasn't the actual movie. It was just a play we reenacted at my school at the time. But that was a really good movie. I like that movie a lot. I used to really like musicals. But then it went from that to doing some other plays in high school. And then I kind of ventured forth with Gang Agents and that kind of thing. My main focus is movies and commercials, of course. But I've done the whole play thing and background thing before. So
Yeah, you know what? That's actually that's a good as far as doing plays go. I mean obviously that's the best way to do it, right? The younger you start, the better it is. I mean, if you could, start as far as actually knowing what you're doing. I mean, I know there's kids that they'll come on there 8 or 9 and do roles. They'll do roles, but I think they do it basically more by memory. It's more of a memory than it is an understanding of what they're doing. I mean, yes, you're doing a musical, but do you understand the story? The will child 8 or 9, will they understand the story behind it? Like if they come back there and you ask them like, what's your motivation? They're gonna look at you like you're like, what's that? But when you're in your teens, they look at you and they say, okay, this is my motivation. This is how I saw my character, and this is how I developed it. This is how I brought it to the stage. And I do believe there's plenty. We've already seen plenty of teen actors that are outstanding. Um, and I heard you say something like you said you used to like musicals. You don't like them so much now?
I do enjoy them, but I think I listened and watched too many of them. So I'm kind of on the fence about them. I'm more into like rom-coms and romantic now. Now that I'm older, and some adventures. So, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy is also a really good movie. I really enjoy a lot. I think I like the first one versus the second one better. So that's kind of like the action adventure story that I kind of like. I'm more into like the rom-com and romantic now. So
Okay, so I'm super excited with one half of your answer there, just totally excited, and then I'm like, there's half of me that's just like my heart is breaking. Um, and that is, I love the fact that you're the first actress that actually has come out and said, I want to, and I like romantic comedies. I mean, you're the first actress that's actually said this. I really like doing those. Thank you for saying that. I've talked to a lot of actresses who've done a lot of horror, but very few that actually, I mean, very few that have just come out there and said, yeah, I'm down with I'm down with a good romantic comedy. I want to be romanced, even if it is on the screen. Um, you say you used to like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Brandi, right? You used to like it, or you still do?
I still enjoy it. My boyfriend actually recently saw the second one. Recently, was it the first or the second? We saw it together with his sister, and I think he liked it. But I'm yet to see the third one. I have not seen the third one yet. The one where it's mixed with the other characters.
Right. Now, were you a comic book buff when you were growing up? Did you read comic books or collect them or anything like that?
No. I've always been an artist. Like I draw, so I cartoon. So I think that's my portion of like cartoons, like that kind of comic idea. But I've never really been one to really read comics, if that makes sense. So I've never really been into that.
That's right. You are a very accomplished artist. And I saw that part of your resume too, and I'm like, I you're very talented. It sounds like you got some skills. Now, that obviously, what came first for you? Your acting, or did you become an artist first? I mean, were you drawing, or what did you do first in terms of being a creator, art or acting?
I think they come hand in hand, but it was definitely art. I know growing up back when in school, I would draw my notebooks a lot. Little doodles here and there when the teacher's talking. I never taken a class for it. Kind of art has always come naturally. I've always been good at it. So in school, I got really good in like art class and that kind of thing. I think acting came later, but like I said, it goes hand in hand, right? It's the art side of your brain. I think it's the right side, and I'm more right sided than left sided. I think.
It's funny. It's like one of my teachers in school. I can't remember what grade it was, but in his class where he used to do, because a lot of times during school, it was in middle school, and kids would be drawing, right? They'd be drawing on their papers and whatnot, and so they weren't really necessarily paying attention. So the teacher, when he would see someone do that, he would walk up there and confiscate their paper. So so the artists do, the kids would do, they give the teacher whatever they're working on, and they have them focus on the class. At the end of the year, at one end of the last week, what he used to do is he used to do an art gallery, impromptu art gallery. He would put up all the pictures that he had confiscated during the year. He'd put them up in his classroom. So you all walk in and you can see all the art that everybody was doing when they were supposed to be paying attention to him. But a lot of that art was just super good. It was very talented. It was his way of saying, these guys are, they're smart as hell, and they're very talented. It was his way of giving back. I mean, he wasn't harshing on them at all, but obviously, it was, you got to pay attention to the class, right? But that was his way of saying, I see what you're doing and I acknowledge it. And So it was always fun. It was always fun to go in there and see all the different pictures. And of course, that always sparked the next following year. Any kid that come inside the class, they were trying to get caught, so their picture would be posted at the end of the year. Um, yeah. So art was I mean, were you more of a? Did you draw inspiration from your art from things that you saw on TV or books or art galleries or your own imagination?
So all my art, well, most of my art is from my own imagination. I'm very not as imaginative now, but when I was younger, I was very imaginative. So my main focus with my art, at least, was animals. I'm a very passionate person about animals, so I would always draw dogs. That was my main focus. But then I would draw other things too. I think some of my inspiration could have come from cartoons because when you're a young child, you grow up and watch a lot of cartoons, right? So I remember watching a few things on Teletoon. But most of my creativity comes from my own mind. So
Dogs, huh? No cats.
now I draw cats. Back then it was all dogs. I was completely obsessed with dogs when I was younger. It was always dogs this, dogs that. Um, but now I've gained more, confidence in my art. So now I can draw more things. But growing
Yeah.
up, it was mostly dogs. I drew other stuff too, but my main focus was dogs.
Do you think it's safe to say that dogs represent simplicity and cats represent more complexity?
Yeah, I have 3 cats in my house, and I do a lot of dog singing. And when I look at the dogs versus the cats, cats are like,
Mhm.
no, I'm gonna do my own thing, and dogs are like, oh, come here, love me, and it's like,
Right.
okay, dogs are amazing. You just cuddle, and cats are just like, I'm the simple life. I'm just gonna sit here, eat my catnip, eat my cat food, and I'm just gonna go sleep and ignore you for the next 10, 12 hours, and I'll come when I want to. And then I'm
But
like, hey, bye.
I think there's a lot of complex thought in a cat's brain like you said, dogs just. I think they have two. I think they have two drives in their brain. It's like I'm going to slobber on my master, and then I'm going to go to sleep. And cats, they give you cuddles, but they're also trying to take over the world.
Yeah, or take over your life.
Right. Not saying that because I'm not like a huge cat guy or anything, but all right, so I'm a huge cat guy. Um, yeah, I have as you see, the cheetah part in my channel's name. Uh, there's a reason for that because I do own a cheetah, and he's pretty complex. I think most of the time when he's not trying to chase my feet. Um, now, do you still draw actively? I mean, you probably still now, more so now, right? I mean, have you had your work shown in a gallery so far?
So I haven't put anything in the gallery. I did write a children's book with somebody. I can't remember the name of it. It's upstairs. I'd have to go find it. And I'm working on a children's book with a friend right now. So we're kind of actively. She wrote the script out. Well, not the script, sorry, but like not the illustration, but the wording out. And I've been doing the cartoons for it. So hopefully we'll get that done and we can publish it. It's a long process. It's not easy. And then I was doing something for someone else, but that didn't work out. I've had some people see my work online and they've asked me to draw for them, so I've drawn for some people. So I made a little bit of profit off of it, but I don't do it for the profit anyway. I just enjoy doing it. So to answer your question, I've done a children's book. I think it was called Buddy Bear Books. I don't know if it's online right now anymore. It was on Amazon at one point. I don't know if it's there anymore. And then I'm working on another one right now. So
I'll just talk a couple of comments here. Our friend Doomsday Crypt is in the house. Hey, John, how are you? He's saying hello to us, Brandi. And then Drive-In Chronicles. Cats tend to get into things a lot. Although a very smart pet, cats can also be a complete mess too. That's a lie. That's a barefaced lie. It's propaganda. That's dog propaganda. Cats are perfect.
yeah.
Tell 'em, Brandi. Tell them. Uh, let's see. I have on two tabbies and a Siamese. They were not very well behaved. I'm actually sort of surprised by that about the Siamese because Siamese are incredibly smart and very loyal. But I have met some crazy Siamese cats. I have met a few, but they're very smart. they know their well. Paladin, he's a cheetah, so you don't think about that, but he actually knows his name. He knows his name very well. He knows a lot of words. I talk to him a lot, so maybe that's where he got it from. But he's got a pretty good vocabulary. I mean, he understands quite a bit. Um, let's see. Yeah, what kind of cat? You have three cats. Real quick, where'd you get the three cats, and what are their names?
Okay, so two of them are my boyfriends, and the one of them is mine. So my boy, he's orange and white. He's a long-haired ragdoll slash Maine Coon mix. His name is Hagen. My boyfriend's one cat. She's all black. Her name is JJ. He thought she was gonna be a male, so her name was JJ. But then it turned out to be a female, so now he just stuck with JJ. And then there's a big fat. I say fat. She's really chunky, and she's a gray one, and her name is Sophia. So we have three cats. Technically, one of them's mine, but since he lives out of town, he comes to visit me. His cats stay with me now because he's always down here anyways, and I just take care of them when he's gone. So.
Plus, I, a lot of actors and actresses and even directors have said that, they have recommended, like, when you don't have a human partner to run lines with, they said many times that cats are awesome scene partners. And I agree with that, because my Paladin, he always is stealing scenes from me. And your cat's orange and white, and so's mine.
Oh,
cool. Yeah, he's orange and white too. Very, very much a knothead. So do you like a children's book? Now, you're right. Children's books are like really hard to write. Now, are you a writer too? Have you started? I notice a lot of artists that tend to be writers. Are you do you like to write as well as you'd like to draw?
I've typed out some ideas. I kind of done short stories here and there. I've written in my own time. No, I didn't publish or anything. I did write a short children's story years and years ago, which I think turned out okay. But I don't really write too much. I don't really know where to start. I kind of get writer's block. That's a good way of putting it. I'm more of the arts part of things, the drawing part.
Yeah, I mean, art too. I mean, obviously art is they walk hand in hand. But I write, I do a blog, I do film reviews or whatever. I don't really do fiction at all. I've never tried it. I just never had the confidence in doing fiction. I just do, reviews or editorials or stuff like that. But I think creative writing is something, I really do. I love reading, and I totally respect anybody who can draw and or write. Hey, Andre, how are you, sir? Now you're listening. Someone is listening to you. Our interview from New Zealand. How about that? Andre is from New Zealand.
Nice,
So
that's awesome.
you have gone international, Brandi. How do you feel about that?
That's pretty cool. Hi, New Zealand, and everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, this is one thing about this show is we have. This is not our first trip to Canada. We have been to Canada several times, and we've been to Australia, Austria, England, Ireland, Scotland. So we bring you the world here on 8 Questions with. Speaking of that, have you ever gone out of Canada? You ever traveled outside of Canada?
So, yes, I've been to the States twice. Back in 2019, I went to visit a friend in Sioux City, Iowa, and then in 2019, was it 2019? Yeah, 2019, I went to Los Angeles for an audition.
Oh, congratulations.
It was really cool, but I'm pretty sure I got COVID when I was up there because I got extremely sick, so the trip wasn't that great. And in acting, you got to pretend that you're not sick when you're sick, so I kind of took a lot of cold meds, masked it, did my interview. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. But the overall, it was a great experience. I got to travel around LA, see Beverly Hills, that kind of thing. I was just really sick.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the sick part and also about the audition, but in a way, you got a chance to come out and you got asked to go down and audition, and that speaks to your talent, because not everybody gets that call, like gets that far. Like, we want you to come down and do the audition, and here we go. We're going to pay for you to come on down to do it. So how cool is that? I mean, You didn't get it that time, but you'll get it next time.
Yeah.
So okay, so we established that you're sort of like on the fence musical wise. Was there one musical in particular that sort of tipped you off of it? Like, I'll come back to it, or was it just because you did so many of them?
I really like the musical called La La Land. That was a really good one. I don't know if you saw it. It was
I
really
have
good.
a copy.
Yeah.
I have a copy of it. I am actually a musical fan. I am a musical. My name's Patrick Michael, and I love musical.
Nice.
Yeah. Uh, I'm a huge musical fan. I do have La La Land. I haven't watched it yet, and I think it's because I wanted to see it because I heard so much about it, but I'm not exactly the huge Emma Stone fan.
I love Emma Stone.
Uh-oh.
I love
Uh-oh.
Emma Stone.
Uh-oh. This could be a short interview. No, I'm just not that big of a fan. I don't know what it is. The one movie I did like her in, was the first movie I did see her in, and that was The Help. But
Okay.
after that, I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. Just not. I'm not saying she's not a bad actress. She's a very good actress, obviously, but I don't know. Do you have any actors that? Yeah, is there any actors and you don't have to name names or so if you don't want to, but have you ever seen any actors or actresses that you admire their work, or don't admire their work? It just doesn't connect with you as a fan.
Oh man. So I used to be obsessed with Johnny Depp like for years and years. I'm not a huge fan anymore. I think that was just a phase I went through for like 15 years. It was a very long phase. I really like Emma Stone. I can't stand Jack Black. Just like you with Emma Stone, I don't know what it is with Jack Black. I can't stand his acting. Oh my gosh.
You know what? Yeah, yeah. I was like that too, and I'll tell you where I became a Jack Black fan. Uh, Mr. Flickster likes musicals. Awesome musicals. Yes. I think Derek PDX likes musicals. Mr. Flickster's not a fan of Zoe Kravitz. I'm not either. Not really. She's okay. Like, I didn't like her as Catwoman. Just no. Uh, see, I see Derek saying that we should watch The Sinful Dwarf. Oh my God! Did you get the copy of The Sinful Dwarf? Oh, okay. Let me explain this real quick. So there's this movie called The Sinful Dwarf. It's a weird psychedelic. I don't know what the hell to call it. But everybody has been there's one copy, and it's been being mailed around our local community. Like, if I get the movie, someone will send it to me. I have to watch it and then turn around and send it off to somebody else. You're not allowed to keep it. You got to keep it. You got to keep it moving. And I think it's been like 15 or 20 people so far. You know what? That Okay. So Torben looks like a sweaty small Jack Black.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, so here's when I became a Jack Black fan. Because I always thought he's been a little over top too. But he did one movie that I thought was really beautiful and was really well made, and I loved it a lot. And that was the one where oh boy, it just blew my brain. Shallow Hal. Love that movie. That's when I became a Jack Black fan. Um, I thought he was good in that, and then he came out School of Rock, and he was really the more restrained he is, the better he is. Um, but yeah, I get it. I get it. Uh, Now, as a peer, I mean, if you had a chance to work with him, you would jump at the chance, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. And actually, you mentioned Shallow Hal. I actually really love. That's the only movie I liked him in too. Honestly, I really like Shallow Hal.
Yeah. That was like that's a really overlooked movie. I think it's really. I know they try to remake it. They try to remake it. I think through a woman's point of view, but I don't think it. I don't think it. I think it lost this. I think when they try to remake a movie like that, I think it loses a lot in the translation, only because that it's already been done.
Yeah.
But but it's different because it's through a woman's eyes, and it's like, but it's basically the same thing. It's the same process. It's the same story. I mean, just because I see it through that person's eyes doesn't really change the basic story, the basic idea behind it. Um, yeah, that's um, that was more straight comedy. Saving Silverman, that was more just straight comedy. Shallow Hal had a lot of heart to it, like the School of Rock, which I really, really enjoyed. Let's see, Small Jack Black. Oh my God, you guys are killing me with that. Um, okay, well, since we're gonna go there, and this is sort of a mundane question, but I'll ask it anyway since we're talking about ones that we don't like. But who if you could do a scene with three actors, what three actors would you like to share a scene with?
Oh, so definitely Johnny Depp number one. Emma Stone, because like I mentioned, I really like her. And a third one. That's a good
Let me
question.
shot myself in the foot when I admitted I didn't like Emma Stone, didn't I? I sort of blew it there with you.
Oh, everyone has their own cup of tea, right? And she's not
I can,
yours, and that's fine.
I can see your upper lip is curling at me when I said that I didn't like Emma Stone. She's
Oh,
like, I don't know. What am I? Who's this guy? Why is he hating on Emma for?
I just gotta
What's
leave
wrong?
now. Gotta go. Bye.
Yeah, what's wrong with him? Okay, so Emma Stone.
Johnny Depp, and I think there's an actress Jennifer Gardner. I think would be a third. I know you said three, but I also like Anna Kendrick too. I think another one would be her too. So four people.
She's really good. I mean, who? Now, if anybody came out there and said that they didn't like Anna Kendrick, I just couldn't talk to that person ever again, ever, ever, ever. Because Anna Kendrick can do anything. There's nothing. There's not a role that she can't play. Um, I mean, when you watch actors on TV or in the movies, or like especially at home, maybe. Do you ever take notes of their performances? Do you ever sit back and just watch what they do and how they play certain scenes for your own self?
I've done enough movies like backgrounds and other stuff to know that each scene takes a while. So sometimes in my mind, I'll be like, "Oh, I wonder how long this scene took," or "Why did they do that?" So I mean, kind of mentally, I take a note. I don't actually physically write on paper, but sometimes I do judge a little bit. There was a movie I was watching recently. I can't remember the name of it, and it's one of those movies, or in general, it's like, why did they just end it like that? It's such a stupid ending. Like it just makes no sense.
Uh, okay, the leader of the sinful dwarf I was telling you about earlier, he's now walked inside the room. He must have hurt his ears must have been burning. That's the guy who started the sending the movie around to everybody. He's in here. Do you want me to get her address, Hobbs, and we can send her a copy of the sinful dwarf? Uh, see, Mr. Flickster saying he won't watch the new Fantastic Beasts because Johnny Depp got screwed. That's true. He should, I hate that culture. You know what? There's no such. It's like, why are you why are you taking him out for no reason? He neither one of actually both of them. Okay, even though Amber Heard is crazier than batshit, there's no reason why that she should lose her career over a civil matter more than a criminal matter. I don't understand that at all. I'm not saying that would I cast Amber Heard in a movie if it was the right role? Yes, I thought she played a great Mira. I would use her again, but I don't think she should be punished, nor should he be punished, or anybody in a civil matter. Um, do you think that's really dangerous, Brandi? I mean, when actors start losing parts or careers over civil matters versus criminal matters,
Yes
or do you
and
feel
no. I didn't really watch the whole Amber Heard case and Johnny Depp case. I kind of saw a glimpse of it, but I don't know, I just kind of let it go. The whole situation was silly as it was, and it shouldn't have happened. And I feel like Johnny Depp definitely shouldn't have lost his, he didn't lose his role, but he was very close to losing like his chances in acting, right? He did lose, I think, Pirates of the Caribbean at one point, or if he's not in Pirates of the Caribbean anymore, I'm not sure. But I think it really depends on the situation. If it's criminal, definitely. If they did something like, something really awful. But when it comes to like physical stuff like that, I don't know. I think it really depends, honestly.
Yeah, it's probably the only thing about the whole kit and the caboodle that I probably would have addressed as far as criminal matters go, and that fact that he basically cut off his finger. That part really disturbed me more than anything else about the whole damn case. I mean, I was like you. I was catching it like, like I wasn't really following it. I knew about it, but I really wasn't following it that much. I do remember when he lost his finger because he threw a bottle at him or whatnot, and I was like, if that had been anybody else, if that had been anybody else non-famous, they would have been in jail for that. So that part of it bothers me. But the civil stuff, about the divorce or pooping on the bed or whatever, you know what? Honestly, I, I don't want to hear that. It's not my business. It's not my
Yeah,
business.
it's ridiculous.
And I don't, like I said, it's like, and everything. It's like the studios are like exploiting the situation by sitting there saying, well, we're going to go ahead and cut her out or cut him out of it. It's like, why? They didn't do anything. They only hurt themselves. It's a civil matter. It's between them and whoever else. It didn't hurt you. It didn't hurt me. People are going to go to the movie regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless what you say, what you do. I mean, Johnny Depp is a big enough star that he could go on stage and read a newspaper, and people are going to pay $8 plus $20 for popcorn and a drink to watch it. That's just how it is. So now when you first got your start on in acting, I mean, you said you were a teenager. How old were you when you walked on your first set?
If we're talking about like plays, I would say, 13. It would be grade 7. An actual set like background, that would have been probably when I was 19, 20-ish, I think. That was quite a while ago, so I can't really remember. I think it was around that. Yeah, maybe.
People don't realize, and this is true for me too, until I started doing this show. I don't think people truly realize exactly how important background is. Walk us through it and tell us what you feel. What is background to you? How do you prepare for it? And what value do you think it has given you as both as an artist, as an actress? I mean, how has it helped you? I mean, in doing that.
So my personal opinion on background is I've done a lot of it, so I'm looking more for me personally in front of the camera now. But since I have done background, I can answer that. So basically, you step by step, how it goes is you go to wherever the producer's asking you to go, and basically they have you sit there. They tell you to come at a certain time, and most of the time they're not even ready to take you at that point. You're just sitting there for who knows how long, how many hours while they're getting you set up, dealing with the other actors, actresses, background, that kind of thing. So you're mostly doing a lot of sitting down, waiting for them to start. Then when you finally get to that point of, being on camera, they tell you to do a certain pose or a certain whatnot. So let's say you're doing like, I don't know, a scene in a park and you have to sit on a bench and talk to, I don't know, a stranger or whatnot. They'll have you sit a certain way. And if you don't do that way they ask, or if you make a mistake, they'll make you redo it until you do it properly. And it's tedious and it's long. It's a long process. A lot of time they don't notice that because it's background. I think it's more like the main focus, like the main actors, they're mostly focused on them. But they can still see in the background if you're doing it right or not.
Right.
So you should probably try to do it right the first time, or you'll probably have to do it again.
So it's almost like if your background, in a sense, it's almost like if you're actually in the scene. I mean, you are in the scene itself, but I mean, I think a lot of people probably just like, no one's going to notice me because I'm in the background. Everybody's going to be focused on the main characters. I'm just, no one's going to be paying attention to me. But I think a good camera person and a good director, I definitely think that they're right. They probably are watching you. They are watching you, because I've heard about some actors, so they've mentioned this, and they've done that. They'll do a scene a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and all of a sudden they'll stop and they'll go and they'll walk up to the background people and move them out. They say, okay, you just go over here, and I'm going to bring in this person over here, and next thing you know, you as a background person, you've been actually, in theory, you've been replaced because you weren't doing the right thing, or maybe didn't have the right look. And you don't even think about that when you're watching a movie. When you're watching a movie, the only thing you notice, the only thing you focus on are the people who are talking, who you can hear. Now, me on the other hand, I've always been one who looks at background. Always, I've always been fascinated by that because you see a lot of people walk by there, and there's a lot of them are striking. Like, okay, wow, that's that guy looks, he's pretty handsome. Is he going to be in the movie later on? Is he going to be, is he going to be a character, or you see a young woman pushing kids, and you just wonder, like, wow, how hard was that for that person to do that, over and over and over. I think background is incredibly important. Um, Me too. And you know what? Honestly, I there's a documentary, Brandi, called "I've Seen You Somewhere," and I think it was about the character actors, about a lot of character actors that always appear in movies. You don't know, you know the face, but you don't know the name. And I think it's like that too for some backgrounds. Uh, like I've actually spotted in different Hallmark movies. That's right, Hallmark. Uh, I've seen some of the same background people in different movies. I recognize their faces. They didn't have any lines, but I recognize them from the different movies they popped up in, because they made an impression. Um, when you are a background, like let's say they show you in a restaurant scene and it shows like you're talking, are you really talking, or are you just mouthing dialogue?
So I did do a background scene actually in a restaurant. I can't remember. I think it was called The Husband Schmale Online, and it was a restaurant scene. It was in a Mexican restaurant, and basically, from what I remember, you just kind of talk gibberish. You just have to like focus on the person you're talking to and not look around, and definitely don't look in the camera because that's one thing. Do not look in the camera in your background.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, you just have to. So the people actually are talking in the background. I've always wondered about that. That's one question I always meant to ask. It's like you see people are there's like they're having a conversation, but I've always wondered, like, are they just mouthing? Are they just saying their dialogue but not speaking it? So it looks like they're saying it, but they're not, or are they actually speaking it and then they just edit it out?
I
We'll
think
fix
it
it.
also depends on the person. I mean, some people might not follow and not say anything that might melt things, but normally I think you're supposed to say stuff.
I was gonna say, if they're not supposed to, we'll fix it in post. That's I've learned a lot of I learned a lot of the technical terms since I've been doing this. So I know about stealing scene, like, oh, here, you're not supposed to steal scene. That's the background person. They're out there, drawing attention. They're drawing attention to themselves at the cost of your their leading actors. Um, let's see. Yeah, thank you, Hobbs. I appreciate it. Yeah, hit the like and don't forget to come afterwards and leave a comment too. That also helps quite a bit. Uh, so what was the first acting role that you did that you had lines in?
It would have been back in the Newsies that I was telling you about. I was background for that, but then they had me do one of the lines. I think it was the paper boy. I know I'm a woman, but they got me to be the paper boy. And I had a line. I can't remember exactly what I said because it was so long ago, but
Right.
it was one of the scenes from the play. It wasn't the whole play. It was just kind of we were doing a skit about it, performing in from somewhere. So that would have been, I think, my first speaking role that I did. And that was a long time ago. So I don't remember much about it, but I do recall I did have a speaking role in that.
Now, how about out of school? I mean, your first role that you've done, because you've done the background, but I've also, but I'm sure you've done your fair share of plays. Um, talk to us about some of the. Have you done live theater yet?
So actually, I recall because I go to church. So we did the crucifixion play years ago, where I played the dead girl and another role, and then we did something called The Grinch Who Found Christmas. So it's kind of like based on the Grinch who stole Christmas, but a Christian perspective, and we would say like presents and toys and that kind of thing. So I had a bit of a role in that. And then there was the Newsies, and then there was another one, Guys and Dolls, back in high school. That was an interesting one. So I've done like 4 or 5 different plays before. I've also done music videos and that kind of thing too, and I do my own monologues and that kind of thing. So
Uh, does Ottawa have? You mentioned you being a Christian, and I'm sure you would love to have a chance to work on some faith-based movies. Does Ottawa have a faith-based movie community or a theater community?
nope, nope.
Uh, wow. I mean, that's one thing. That's one thing I have to say about the U.S. That there's a, it's small. It's small, but it's there. I followed the Kendrick brothers when they first started out. You know who they are?
Yeah, yeah. I watched a few of their movies.
You know, I really it's a tale of two stories, of two artists for me because I watched the Kendrick brothers and you know from their humble beginnings, and then I watched Kelly and Jefferson Moore. Have you heard of them?
I haven't heard of Kelly Jefferson Moore. No.
Oh, they make some those guys. They make some awesome movies. They make some really beautiful movies. I think the Kendricks sold out myself. A lot of their movies are pretty 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 mainstream and not have they don't have any soul at all in it at all. Um, I remember watching. I mean, does it bother you if you watch a? Does it bother you as a Christian when you watch movies like faith-based movies? Like the Kendrick brothers, they you know they've got more and more. You know they got more and more success. It seems like that the more success a faith-based director, of you know a Christian director, so to speak, or a screenwriter, it seems like more and more that they forget their beginnings, they forget their faith, and they like you know when you see regular Hollywood actors star in a faith-based film, and you just know it's deader than dead. Does that bother you both as an artist because you know that actors not it's just a role for them. They have no they don't have anything really invested in it. It's just a role for them. It's not because you know it's important. It's important when you do a movie that you have some sort of conviction in the topic that you're doing, right? You know, if you're playing a soldier, you really you want to honor the soldier for what he's done or he or she has done, and you want to try to give your best to represent that person through your performance. And I don't see that in Hollywood doing faith-based movies. I think it's an absolute moneymaker for them. They don't really give a rat's ass about the people who are, you know, the people who are spending their money to watch it. And as an artist and as a Christian, does that bother you to see your peers just basically taking a role for money, or you know, does it disappoint you? And how if you got offered a chance to do a faith-based movie from like the Kendricks, would you do it or would you be hesitant?
Oh, I would for sure do it. Actually, I ended up emailing them 2 years ago, hoping they had an open availability, but unfortunately, they don't hire, I guess, for actors outside of whatever they're doing. So, unfortunately, I didn't have a chance with that, which I wish they would give me a chance. I feel like, yeah, that does bother me a little bit now that I think of it. I didn't really think of it before because I feel like you need to be true to yourself. And when it comes to films, especially Christian films, you need to definitely follow what Jesus is leading you to, as well as, it's not just about the money. You need to be in it for what you love to do too. That's for anything in life. Like if you like to do something, it's not always about the money, and you have to, like I said, stay true to yourself and not be so fake. I know acting's fake, but like, just it's not fair. It's not fair.
It isn't because you know I tell this the story a lot because it says a lot. But I remember there was an actress, well known actress, very I won't say the name because you know, but she got the lead in a faith based movie, and they were doing all this publicity for it, you know, like you know this heartwarming movie, this Christian movie, this family movie, and then the day before the movie comes out comes a video that she's done, and she's supposed to be doing a fairy tale. She's doing a poem about her, you know, putting her kids to sleep, and it was so profane. It was so foul mouthed. It was just you know you're sitting there going like it ruined. You know, it's like you go from like, wow, I like to see her how she handles this role. I like to see this movie that she's doing, this faith-based movie. But then I see that, and you're just going like, it just creates. I think it creates cynicism, in for that genre. It creates. People see it like I do. Honestly, like I said, I don't really see like mainstream Christian movies as being Christian movies. I see them as just being money makers. But I mean, you saw Flywheel, right?
I
From the
did see
Kendrick.
that. I saw like Arrows Spike and by the Kendrick brothers and a few others. I didn't see Flywheel yet. No.
Um, Flywheel is just a beautiful little film, and it has so much heart and soul in it. And it knows no actors. They're no actors. They're all from this church. They're the church actors, and so they're not polished. They're not professionals. They're just they're there for the love of it. And that movie speaks so loud, and you really appreciate both where they're coming from, the love that they have. And as an actor, you really believe who they are. This is who they are. They're almost like playing themselves. And I mean, I thought that was really refreshing. And I'd like to see more films like that being made. But do you think that it's true that Hollywood will get a good idea, and they'll just ring it to death, and there's nothing left for it? There's no creativity left for it because everything's all commercialized.
Like with Christian films or regular films?
Let's say with the Christian films, because it's a genre that's never talked about. In fact, this is the first time this is the first in-depth conversation I've had with anybody about it.
Okay, when it comes to Christian films, then I feel like when it comes to Hollywood, they don't really bat an eye much at. For me personally, at Christian films, I don't know many Christian films in Hollywood that I've actually come across, except for, and the Kendrick brothers. I mean, they're not super super big, so I mean, I don't think a lot of people would know about them. They're not like well known. I know Jennifer Garner. She played in there was a movie called Miracles of Heaven, and that was a really good Miracles from Heaven. That was a really good movie. I don't know if you've seen that one. And now that
Yeah,
I think of Flywheel, I think I did see that. That's the one where they're selling cars, right? The Kendrick brothers.
yeah.
Yes, I saw that one.
Yeah.
I had to think about it, but yes, I've seen that. That was a really good one. But
And Jennifer Garner was who I was talking about.
okay, yeah, she was in that.
Yeah, she was in that movie. They're building up the publicity, and then the day before the movie came out, she did the video, and she was just foul mouthed as you could get. I mean, just like f this and f that, and it's like like wow, that's just just. I mean, if you had any cynicism about faith based movies anyway, and the message they're trying to make, you just crushed that. With a 3 minute video, you just took that and kicked it out the window. Um, so yeah. Uh, do you have representation for yourself? I'm going to touch a little something about that too. Do you have representation now, or if not, do you plan on getting anything soon? I mean, is the film industry in Canada, is it picking up a little bit?
From Ottawa's point of view, no, it's more background, and that's not really what I'm looking for, like I mentioned. For what I'm looking for, I'd have to go to Toronto or Montreal or something like that, or go to the States. But in terms of Canada per se, like the country itself, Ottawa is definitely not big in that. And it's very unfortunate because Ottawa is a really nice place.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to move away from here one day and not be here anymore because I am kind of bored of Ottawa. I've been here for too long. But in terms of like, the environment and the things around, it's a really nice place and you could definitely film a nice film here. But unfortunately, no one really bats an eye to Ottawa for some reason. I don't know why. Um, I'm on a bunch of different websites for auditions and casting calls and that kind of thing. So I'm out there and I do my monologues and I post them. So I kind of like self-represent myself and I have some connections, not very big connections. I just know some people in the industry, but they're kind of doing their own thing and they're not really helping me out. I have an agent, but I haven't gotten much from her lately. So I mean, yes and no. Yes and no.
yeah. I know. I promise you, I won't go much further in there because I promised you about that. So we'll just go back to character. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your about what's your process for auditioning. If you get an audition, hey Brandi, I want you to come on down and I want you to play this part, the leading lady of a romantic comedy. So how do you prepare for a role? I mean, what's your process when you do auditions? And do you like self tape, or do you like in-person auditions better, and
So
why?
I've done the in-person and self-tape before, and if I have to choose between them, I prefer self-tape because I feel like it's more personal and it's less stressful. You're kind of by yourself. And the process I do is I have an acting coach, so she helps me out with that. So if I have an audition, I can tell her, I have an audition coming up, and she'll go over the lines with me, and we'll do practicing and that kind of thing. For myself, if I'm doing by myself without her help and her expertise, I just kind of go over the script a little bit and I look it over and try to memorize it to my best abilities, and then I do the self tape. Sometimes it takes a few takes. It's not always the first take. You have to look a certain way. So if you don't look very good, you might want to redo it a little bit, or if you forget your lines, that kind of thing. Because when you're saying a self tape, you want it to look the best as much as you're able to do, because there's so many people auditioning for the same role you're auditioning for, and you have to stand out. Like when I went to Los Angeles for my audition, that was actually a Christian film, by the way.
Oh,
And
really? Which one was it?
I can't remember. Oh, if I remember, I'll tell you. It was back in 2019. That was like 3 years ago. I can't remember. It was a Christian film though.
Do you keep track in a notebook, or is this something maybe now that I'm saying this, is this maybe something you'll do in the future? Do you keep track of all the auditions you've gone to and the parts you've auditioned for? Do you keep like a notebook? Like I auditioned for Jane Austen, Sense and Sensibility. I auditioned for this part and I did this monologue, and this is the result of it. This is the feedback that I got. This is the impressions that I got. Do you keep notebooks like that to help you?
My mental notebook in my mind. Um,
I thought your mind was filled with orange and white cats.
I mean, yeah, I'm constantly thinking of my cat. I love my boy. He's amazing. He's probably the best cat. Sorry, that's not completely true. I had another cat and she was amazing. I like my boyfriend's cat, but I love my cat.
Uh-huh.
But I keep mental notes and I remember about things and emails. I have past emails, but I don't actually physically keep a note about it, which I probably should. Now that you mentioned, I probably should keep a note. That might be a good idea.
Okay. I'll be sending my royalty request. After you do it, I'll get some royalties from that.
Feel free. I'll send you however much it is.
You can send me your cat. And no,
Good
oh,
luck
just
with
kidding,
him.
just kidding. Um, Yeah, because I know with writers, like you're an artist, so like I know when you do your art, I know that you keep your art and you have a folder for that. You have a portfolio for your art, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why? What if actors do that? I wonder if they actually keep every script or every slide they get, and I wonder if they keep notes of every audition they've done. Do they keep it and they keep notes on it, and do they, like when they do the next audition or the next role? Do you ever go back and refer to like what you did the last time? How did you play? What did I do in this self tape that really was that helped me, that made an impression? And what things did I do on that self tape that maybe just weren't so good? And I should keep an eye out that I don't necessarily do that.
I feel like if actors kept all their notes and their lines and scripts and everything, I mean, famous people, they probably have big houses, so they have lots of room. So I'm sure it wouldn't be a big deal. But in reality, if we kept every little thing, you would just have such a stack. I mean, it would be good to look back at so it can help you, make your skills go further, like, practice and whatnot. But I mean, I feel like for me, I'm not a very organized person. I'm very disorganized. So if I kept everything more than I already do, I would be
I
more of a disorganized person.
Now see, I find that hard to believe because cats represent order. Cat owners represent order. Dogs are just like whatever. What you want to do that or whatever. So I actually see you. I see you as a very focused and very disciplined artist. And now you're saying that you're not. I think that's really charming, actually. No, I was just thinking you could just put it on the computer. You could just sit down after audition. and you can sit down and you can write out, your thoughts about it, and about the process of the role you went out for, any impressions that you made. I mean, you can do that and just keep it in your computer. No, I don't think you necessarily need to keep, volumes and volumes of paper, notebooks or anything like that. I was just thinking on the computer, if you sat down there and said, this is for auditioning for Jane Austen Sense and Sensibility, and just type in your thoughts about what you did, how you prepared for it. Do you have a process that you do, Brandi, before the day of an audition? Do you get up any differently? Do you do anything differently for yourself? Do you do exercise or yoga before you do an audition?
I do the same thing I normally do. I get up and I take a shower and that kind of thing, like normal thing people do. The difference I do is I'll go over the script, to make sure I remember and memorize it, especially if it's an in-person audition, because like I said, you want to make sure you stand out and get that role, because that role that you're auditioning for, if they see you and then they see Betty over there and she does a better role than you, they're going to choose her over you. So you definitely got to make sure you're in character too. So I got to make sure I'm still in character. And something I found out too, I need to start dressing differently for auditions. So like dress the part. So when I went to LA, my acting coach got me a specific outfit I chose, and I acted the part a lot more versus if I'm just saying it. I think that looks a lot better. But for me personally, that's something I need to work on. But for me, I just go over the script kind of thing and make sure my mind's in the right area of filming. Because if my mind's thinking of what am I doing in a month, what am I doing in 2 weeks, that kind of thing, then I'm not going to be focused on that. So I need to really think about the script and make sure I understand what I'm doing. My acting coach also has me, putting myself in a situation. So let's say I'm doing an audition for a sad role. She's having me think of something sad in my life that happened, so I can actually get myself in the emotion of the audition, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Uh, uh, Now, when you do scenes of self tape. I mean, let's say you run a scene with your boyfriend, right? Now, is that different for you, doing it on self tape versus in person? Um, I mean, it's in person, it seems to be I would think to be a little bit more stress, a little bit, because you got that one or two shots at it to make that first impression. Um, but at the same time, you're actually being seen. You're being seen. Whereas self-tapes, you can, send us your tape and you can do that, but there's no guarantee that they're going to watch it. There's no guarantee. Whereas in person audition, that it will be seen. So I mean, do you think that you're a conservative actress in the fact that you rather have things a little bit more controlled, to make you look good, like self tape, like you can, like that's what a lot of actors have mentioned. They can do self tape, and they can sit there and do it 20 times before they get the perfect audition and send it in. Or do you like the idea of working without a net when you do in-person auditions? Like, this is who I am. Here I go. I'm going for it.
Yeah, so I prefer self tapes because, like I said, it's more relaxed and I can be more myself versus the stress. So it's like any job, right? You're on the jobs that your boss is basically, staying by you, breathing on your neck per se, right? Like producers aren't doing that, but you have like 1, 2, 3 people sitting there looking at you. So I feel like it adds more stress to the actress or actor themselves because you really have to make sure you get it the first time because that might be your own shot, right? So I feel like for me, I like the self tape better than the in person. I know when I went to Los Angeles, I had the choice of doing self tape, and regarding that trip, they did not pay for it. So my ex and I, we both split the cost, and we paid for our own way there and our own motel, or I think it was a motel, and we actually paid our way there. They didn't ask me to come in, but I wanted to prove myself to them that I was motivated and I really wanted to get it.
Okay.
So in that instinct, I did go in person. But if any other time, like if I'm not getting paid to do it, because I love acting, it's not just about the money, but it does cost money to go to fly and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
that's some huge dedication right there. That's some huge dedication. Congratulations on that. Yeah, that shows dedication to your craft for sure. I don't know that many people that actually do that. To get up there and get on a plane and fly down there, but on their own dime. That's crazy, but good crazy. Inspirational crazy. Um, yeah, I'm sure they were impressed by that. I mean,
Interesting.
doesn't always translate to getting the role necessarily, but you're right. I bet you one thing. I bet you did make an impression, and I'm sure you're on somebody's Rolodex. It'll happen. It'll happen. I mean, it just takes some. I know you heard this a lot. It takes time, but you know what? Sometimes it does that. It does take time, and you're right. And sometimes you do got to move to where the work is. And if there's nothing going on in Ottawa, then by all means you got to move to Toronto or you got to move to Vancouver. I think those are the two hot spots for actors in Canada, right?
Oh yes, and Toronto and anywhere but Ottawa. So if you're watching this and you want to be an actress or an actor, don't do it in Ottawa. Don't come here because you're not going to get much. Just saying.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, that is there? Do you have a plan for that? Have you guys talked about that? Would you rather get married first, then move to Toronto or Vancouver, or would you rather just move there, get maybe try to get yourself established, and then I said get married first. That always helps. But would you rather get there and get established, then get married? Because it's two
Um,
huge things on your plate. I mean, you got that's two huge things. I think you can't. I mean, you could balance it on one hand, but I would think that most people would like to do one or the other first. If you do one first, the other one will come and it'll be easier. I mean, is that true or?
yeah, when you're in a relationship, you gotta make sure you're really committed to that person. Make sure you're with it for the end goal, which is marriage. So for me, I would rather get married first because even though I'm with my partner now, you know, we have plans to get married. Something could happen, we might not work out, God forbid, but some in any relationship, things can happen, right? So if you put yourself in a situation, let's say you move from wherever you are to another place and it doesn't work out, it's great that you're there, but then you gotta realize, you don't have your family or your friends or anything up there wherever you are now. So you gotta kind of like restart your whole life over. And it's not always easy and it's always enjoyable, especially if you don't know the area too. It's a good adventure, new adventure. You gotta kind of weigh the good with the bad, right? So I mean, for me, I would prefer to be married first. You suggest that, and I personally think it's better to be married first, so you can situate yourself better. You know for a fact that person is most likely going to stay with you. I mean, some people get divorces, unfortunately, but I mean, there's a good chance the person's going to stay with you for the rest of your life, especially if you're married. So it's a better situation, I think.
Now, is your partner is he in the industry too? And what does he feel about you? What does he feel about you being a working actress?
So he's not into acting at all. He's not in the industry at all. He's not a big movie person. Just like me, he prefers faith-based movies, and there's not many to watch out there. We haven't found very many. The ones we've seen, we've already seen a few times. So he's not much into it. But when it comes to like my career choices, so acting or anything in life, he's very supportive. So he's all for it. So to answer your question, he's not in it, but he's in it for me to support me. So
Oh, that's awesome. Um, so I mentioned earlier about your auditioning aspect. What you do for an audition. So let's go back and revisit that a little bit. Let's talk about what's your process for getting ready to play a character. What do you do? What do you do in preparing for a character? Do you have any? Same thing with an audition. Do you have any set routines that you do before you do? As far as researching your character, getting into your character's skin. Do you do anything research? You know, do you read about the person? Do you read about the type of person? How do you like if you were going out for a role as Jane Austen, how would you prep for the role?
I think it's a good idea to look into the character. I know my acting coach, she likes to look in the bone structure, where they're from, kind of make yourself a background for the character and really get yourself into the thought process of the character. Like, why is she or he, why are they in the situation? You know, where did they grow up? What's their background? You know, did they grow up in a really mental abusive situation? Did they grow up in a love situation? Did they grow up with love or hate and that kind of thing? And then she gets me to think, you know, like I said earlier, into a specific situation in my life personally that would have happened. Or she'll know something about me and she'll bring out the situation that happened to me and actually really bring out so I can get the emotion out. So she's very big on with me to, you know, go through that. She likes to do these really strange throat exercises. We go whoo and just these weird noises when we do them. And the bone structure, you know, that kind of thing. So I mean, it's a lot. She gets me to do a lot of research and stuff. I'm not always big. I'm not very good in doing that myself. For me, I'm just more laid back. I'm just like, oh, look at the, you know, the script and read it and get to know the character like that and just memorize it. That's how I do
Is
it.
it
She lets
hard
me
to
do
think?
it just more in
Hard.
depth.
Is it really hard for you? So you're saying it's hard for you to commit 100% to a character. I mean, it's difficult. I shouldn't say it's not hard. It's difficult to become that person.
It can be. It depends on what it is. So if it's, let's say it's a really emotional, I'm more of a happy-go-lucky person, so I'm very good with doing like a happy script, a very, you know, very like, oh, excited script versus, let's say it's a sad script. Sometimes that's one of my weaknesses. I have a hard time getting to the emotion of a sad character. So I have to really think of a situation in my life that was a sad
Um,
situation. So
yeah, that could be hard. I mean, that's actually a common thing. A lot of actors have, you know, I've talked to them about that. That is a common. That is common. You know, it's really hard for some actors to get into that character. You know, you know, because you got to be careful about that because you don't want to go over that well too many times because the ones you know, like, you know, I want to, you know, if I want to cry, I just think about, you know, my pet frog, and my pet frog dies, so I'll get emotional about it and I can draw upon that experience. But if I keep doing that, pretty soon I'm going to be immune to it. You know, it's no longer going to make me upset because I've done it so many times. Um, so that is hard. Do you like being coached? I mean, do you feel like your coach is, you know, do you feel like she really believes in you, and does that really help you knowing that she does? Or do you guys ever talk about that, about, you know, like what your next step should be, or is she there for that person, you know, that reason? Does she ever give you advice?
yeah, so I haven't really worked with her lately because I haven't had the money to do it. She costs money, right? So I haven't been able to do it. But when I have spoken to her, I met her in 2017. Something tragic happened in my life, and it was around that time I met her. So I wasn't really, you know, I was going through my own emotions. So back then I wasn't as like intrigued by it because I was going through my own stuff. But she's seen where I was, my acting back then. It was very rough, very
Raw.
wasn't as matured, I guess, into the scripts I was doing because I was just, I don't know, the tragic event that happened, right? I wasn't really thinking about that at the time. To now, to where I am, she's definitely seen an improvement of where I was back then to now. And actually, my acting coach is Shannon Lawson. She's a Canadian actress. Shout out to Shannon Lawson in case she's watching.
Sherry Lawson.
Shannon Lawson. She's a
Yeah.
famous actress in Canadian movies.
Okay, I'll have to look her up.
Do it. She's in a few Canadian films. Shannon Lawson.
Okay, I will definitely look her up. And when I do, if I talk to her, I'll mention that you know, I'll show her this interview.
She's on my Facebook and I posted, so maybe she'll see it.
Okay. No, no, no. I hope she does. I hope you do post this interview out, because you know, right now you're basically auditioning. If you think about it, I mean, you know, interviews like this, live interviews like this, or interviews like this, you know, I think in a sense it is sort of like an audition. Yeah, and you have to promote yourself. You have to get out there and say, because you're right. Because if you don't do it, who is, right? Who's going to get out there and beat the horn? Beat the drum for Brandi Wheeler if Brandi doesn't do it. You know.
Yeah, I've been trying to promote myself for many, many years.
No.
it's been hard to get myself
Oh
out
no, it is hard. It's very hard. I will be, I will definitely agree with you about that. You have to get out there and the thing is, so it used to be that that's really something an actor wouldn't have to worry about too much, but in this day and age, that has changed. Now you have to do things like this, and you have to get out there and say, hey, my name's Brandi Wheeler, and I'm an actress, and I'm an artist, and I'm very skilled, and this is some of my skill set, and yeah, you have to get out there and do it. um so I mean, uh oh, Hobbs has a question for you. He wants to know if you actually collect movies. Do you collect physical media as an actor? Do you collect movies that your favorite movies?
So hello, Hobbs. How are you doing? So I used to collect films when there was DVDs around. Um, I don't buy movies as much anymore because now I watch Netflix and whatnot. I used to collect when I was really crazy about Johnny Depp. I used to collect his movies back a long time ago. I had maybe 10 movies. I know he has tons and tons of movies. But I think I had at least 10, 12 movies, but that was a long time ago. So I don't really collect movies as much anymore because DVDs aren't really a big thing anymore. Now it's kind of Netflix and streaming online. I used to though. I used to collect DVDs, so
What are your three, just for fun, what are your three favorite Johnny Depp movies?
what's Eating Gilbert Grape? I used to really like Sweeney Todd. I'm not a big fan of that one anymore.
Because it's a
Oh man,
musical.
yeah. I don't know. I'm just not really into like the whole, just the way it is. It's a bit too gruesome for me now. I'm not really into the whole like slicing throats and that kind of thing, even in movies. Edward Scissorhands was good. That's probably his second one. So what's in Gilbert Grape? Edward Scissorhands. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was okay. Oh, there's another one I can't think of. Blow. Blow was pretty good. So
Yeah.
I think Blow would be my third. I think
I think for him, for me, I think my favorite his role that he's done, probably for me, it's probably been Sleepy Hollow.
that was a good one. That was a good one.
Um, would you do horror films? I mean, is there any movies that you wouldn't do? Any roles you wouldn't do? Would you do a horror film if you got offered it?
And Chocolat too. I really like Chocolat. So that'd be my third slash and fourth. No, I don't like horror films. I'm really not into horror films at all anymore.
Oh, you used to like him.
Yeah, I used to really be big into Saw and all those kind of like slasher films.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. As I've grown in my faith, I'm really not into those like gruesome, dark movies anymore. No.
Right, I understand. But on the other side, let me ask you this: since you said you like to do a romantic movie or romantic rom com or whatnot, would you play the other woman in a movie?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question because I did see the movie called The Other Woman, and that was actually a pretty good movie. Uh honestly, acting is just acting, right? It's not real. So I mean, it really depends on what my convictions are, and definitely horror movies off there. But when it comes to The Other Woman, I think I would probably do that just because it's just a film, right? At the end of the day, and I mean, being the other woman, it's not like I'm slashing, killing somebody. So that's a good question. I've never thought of it before. I might, maybe. I don't know. If it was offered to me, I probably wouldn't bat an eye at it. I probably
We want you to play Brandy. We want you to play the femme fatale. You're gonna go in there. Here's this guy. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's got a lovely wife and a kid and two kids and a dog and a cat. But we want you to go in there and seduce him. You're gonna be the other woman. You're gonna be like smooth and silky and sexy and everything. Go get him. Now that'll roll something. Would you like to sink your teeth into something like that, or would you rather be just play the wife?
I think I prefer the wife, honestly. Oh man.
I
Yeah.
was thinking, oh, don't do that. You gotta play the femme fatale. You look like a femme fatale. You look like you could be a really good femme fatale.
I definitely would have to really think about it. I mean, if it was offered, I probably wouldn't bat an eye. I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll do it just because acting, and if it's a big role, of course. Um, maybe, maybe.
Ah, see, because you look really you look extremely sweet, and you're very well spoken. But you know what? Those make them the best femme fatales. Those are the ones that Holy cow! That guy's going into deep water now. I mean, you could be the Amber Heard.
Oh gosh, Amber Heard. Oh gosh.
We want you to play the Amber Heard type.
Oh gosh, Amber Heard. She's another one.
We're gonna make a movie about her, her autobiography. We want you to come in and play Amber Heard. All right, as long as I don't have to poop on the bed, right?
I don't know why she did that. That's so gross. Why would you do that?
Because she's crazy.
For attention, honestly, I feel like she just did for attention.
She's just crazy. So what's as far as what's next for you? Are you gonna go back and work on the kids' book? Or are you gonna do some more art? Are you gonna draw some? You gonna draw some more? Maybe work on getting a show in a gallery. Are you gonna keep? Are you gonna? How are you? What are you gonna do next to help? Move your career forward?
I'm hoping to get some auditions going and hopefully get out there. But on the other side, it's not really going anywhere right now. I think right now, other than the acting, I'm focusing on the children's book because I have to draw some more photos for her, some pictures. So do that. Maybe post some more photos on social media of my art. Do my own kind of art pieces, that kind of thing.
Do you have anything that you can show us?
Yeah. If you give me a second, I can grab them. Cool. I have a bunch of them.
Yeah, let's do that. What a really nice lady, huh? She's so cool. This is definitely one of my more fun interviews. That's for sure. What a sweetheart. I'm rooting for her. How could you not? I mean, she's an artist, she's an actress, and she has an orange and white cat. I mean, I don't understand why her partner's dragging his feet. I mean, he's lucky. Oh, there she is.
All right, so there's a lot. We would be here for hours if I stayed here and showed you everything. So I'm not going to go through everything just because it's going to take a while.
Show 3 or 4 pieces.
Okay, so this is something I was working on. This person wanted me to do a logo, but I messed up the logo and it just did an art piece. He still paid me for it, but it turned out to be an art piece, not a logo. So it says Sunny's Farm. There's a cow, a sheep, and a barn.
Nice.
But it's hard to show.
Wow, I love the sky. Yeah, it's a really good use of color. It really pops, Brandi.
That was the first one.
Now, have you drawn your cat?
Yes, I can't find the photo of him though.
I knew it. I knew you guys in there were looking at me going like, that guy's gone crazy asking cat questions, but I knew she had drawn her cat.
Oh, you gotta draw your cat. Come on now. Definitely gotta draw your cat.
You definitely gotta draw your cat.
You have to. You have to.
Oh my gosh, look at that. That's your dog. So what dog is this? What dog is this one?
So it's a pug and he's wearing a hat and a tie.
That's really good. I like the tie. Wow, you know what? Have you ever considered showing your Mr. Flickster? You're my hero, Mr. Flickster. Mr. Flickster says he's cat crazy too. We all go a little cat crazy. The cheetah is downstairs right now. He is downstairs relaxing, but I'm sure he'll be making I thought he'd be making a cameo by now, but it's too hot. It's like 93, 94 degrees, so he's staying cool.
I want to see your cheetah too in live.
Yeah. Oh, he's been on here. Oh yeah, he's been on here quite a bit. A lot of cheetahs. A lot of cheetahs on my videos. Let's see. Okay, let's see. What's your cat's name anyway?
His name is which one? There's 3.
Your cat, orange and white cat.
His name is Hagen. I can go get him if he's around. He was around here earlier. I don't know where he went now. He's somewhere. Okay.
Have you thought about doing an art gallery? I mean, not an art gallery, but like a street fair or something, art shows or stuff like that. Have you ever thought about selling your work?
I would like to do that. I was thinking about doing like kind of an art thing outside where I draw on the cement with chalk.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding a gallery itself, I would actually love to do that. I just don't know how to go about that or do that kind of thing.
I was thinking more. I was thinking that'd probably more profitable anyway. But do street fairs. They have art fairs. You get your table and you put up your wares and you sell your art that way. You make you make copies of it. Lithographs, I think they're called. Let's see. Her cats are Mr. Flixter's cats on all his videos. And they're Bella and Elsa.
Bella, Elsa. Those are names of princesses.
Well, I think most cats think they are. I think most female cats think they are princesses.
That's true.
Paladin thinks he thinks he's a gunfighter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's got some fast paws.
It's cute.
He can run 47 miles an hour.
That's crazy. That's so fast.
Very fast. Yeah. Got time for one more picture before I let you go?
Yes. I'm trying to find it. Okay. I did a painting too. I don't know where it is right now, but I love roses. My red roses are my favorite, so I drew a rose.
Wow. It looks like it looks like it's moving.
Probably because my hands are moving.
It does. It looks like it's moving. It looks like the wind is blowing. I can see it moving.
Oh, cool.
That's brilliant. That's really good.
I have a bunch in here. We would be here for hours if I showed you every one of them.
Well, you know what though? Who's to say? And I already tell you already. But we definitely want you to come back because you are like one of the most charming people I've talked to in a long time.
Yay!
Stop being so cute. You've already made a great impression on everybody here. What can we see you in as far as is there any movies or anything that we could look for that you've done? I mean, like if we wanted to watch you in action, what would you recommend us to look for?
Regards to the background stuff, you probably won't see me very much because you kind of like see the back of my head in some of it. You don't really see me. There's some music videos on YouTube. I have a website with some stuff on there. I have a TikTok. I'm all over social media, honestly. If you look up my name, I'm probably on Google.
Okay. We'll get all your information from that TikTok and that's the only that and Twitter are the only two platforms I don't really like, Brandi, because I don't really think that they I mean, for what I do, they do nothing for me. Like they don't. I think people are just really too self-centered on those two platforms. Like I'm sure. Did you share this interview out on your TikTok?
No, just Facebook.
Hey, next time you gotta show everybody. You gotta share it out with everybody. That's the only thing is. So I have a feeling even if you had shared it out with anybody, I probably wouldn't see anybody. I don't know what that is. I to me it's like whenever somebody promotes something on any platform, they should come out and check you out. I mean, if you cared enough to share it out and sit there and say, hey, I'm sharing of myself with you, it's a chance to get to know me a little bit more, But I think TikTokers, I don't know what it is, social media. It's all about just me. It's never about you. It's always about me. I don't know what that is. YouTube's better. YouTube's good for that. I mean, as far as that goes. In a way, I guess it's sort of like acting for real life. A lot of actors just focus on what they're doing. They don't really give too much thought about their peers. Yeah. Hey, Harley, how are you? Harley Bliss in the house. Glad you're here. This is one of the first times I've seen her to come in and check us out. So I appreciate that. And of course, Mr. Flixter is totally killing it too in the comment section. So I guess I will go ahead and wrap this up. I will leave you an open door if you want to come and do this again sometime, maybe in the fall time. We definitely would love to have you back and come talk to us if you want to.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
okay, good, because like I said, I think it's gonna be fun watching you. It's gonna be fun watching your star rise. I do think you're on the rise. I'm often not wrong about that, and I don't think I'm wrong about it here. I do think next time we talk to you, you'll be you're gonna be more in the background. You're gonna be in front of the camera. I do believe that. Um, so I really do appreciate you sharing the time to come out and talk to us. And I had a lot of fun. I knew I had a feeling this was going to be one of these great interviews, and I'm so glad I was right. Uh, Thank you so much, Brandi. I really appreciate your time. Anybody in the chat? Do you guys have any questions for Brandi before we let her go?
I also have a YouTube too. You're mentioning YouTube. I have a YouTube, not just TikTok. I have a YouTube too.
Yes, I'll get all the information from you, and I'm going to put it all in the description box, and then everybody can go connect with Brandi on all her social media.
Okay.
And I can tell you right now, everybody here in the chat will be subscribing to her YouTube page. Yeah, of course you're welcome, Harley. Anytime you want. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much, Kubrick. You rock. I have some of the best. I have some of the best folks here. I have some of the coolest chats, I gotta say. All right, folks. That will wrap it up for today. We'll be back tomorrow with Animal Rescuer. It's actually a cat rescuer, so you'll probably like this one. We'll be back with Animal Rescuer Laura Labritz Goodraz. She'll be here. I don't know. I'm probably just killing her name. She'll be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And then on Thursday, we have Chrissy Georgiana Peters will be here at 8 o'clock. And then Friday, our very good friend, film director and film editor Sean Keane will be here. And yes, I will be talking about you to him.
Thank you.
Do you have a reel?
I don't have a reel put together. I need to work on that. I have links and my website, but I don't have a reel, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're gonna try to fix that. Yeah, come by Friday. I'll definitely, once I put this interview up, I'll send it over to him so we can at least he can know your name. I can do that.
Thank you.
John's one of the nicest people in the business. He's actually the one that got me started in this side of it. He's the one that gave me encouragement to go out there and start writing film reviews. So he's a hell of a guy, and he's a great director. So thank you guys so much for coming by. Thanks again, Brandi. We will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with cat rescuer Laura Labritz. I'm just gonna say her first name. I can't say her last name. Killing it. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Stay right where you're at, Brandi.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.